When a tourney is called in King's Landing, maesters from all around the Seven Kingdoms flock to the capital for the chance to attend the Conclave, a gathering and sharing of information between the most learned men in Westeros. But unknown to these elders, the Conclave contains more than simply information. It also has the capacity for deceit, betrayal, and even death. Welcome to another Mechanist RPG campaign. I am Sassy, obviously, and I will be your faithful commander of the entire universe as DM. With me, I have... How many of you are there? Four. Yeah, four very special people. First off is Bob Freckles, and he is returning as his character Daniel Snow. Bob, you should talk about Daniel Snow for a moment.
Good evening. I am playing Daniel Snow, who is a 50-year-old maester. He is a man, and he is the maester of House Mechanist. His emphases are in cunning, in healing, and in knowledge, and a healthy little dose of talking.
Quite excellent. Also with us, and the first time featured on a Mechanist RPG is Mr. Transforcer. So, Transforcer, who are you playing today?
Maester Julian, who is an adult male maester. I'm not sure what a maester means, but I assume that's like super high professor type person who knows a lot. Which, fancy enough, I do know a lot because, quote, I remember everything I read.
It's true.
Specified in awareness and knowledge.
Quite excellent. If you have listened to our previous series, Maester Julian was in that series, but he was an NPC, so it's good to finally give him a player voice. Also with us is Mr. Argaius. Mr. Argaius, who are you playing?
Hello, I am playing Maester Barely. He is a middle-aged maester for House Tallheart, a sturdy house in the north, famed for their loyalty. You may also remember encountering House Tallheart in our main campaign, where two of the members joined the Grand Melee with myself and Eighth. Maester Barely is a proficient healer, and he has a constant stream of patients to treat in the north, and so he has experience with wounds sustained in battle, ailments to treat small folk, and the large house's retained staff, and he frequently works with children, and therefore he is kind towards children. He's also prone to prideful arrogance when it comes to what he does best, the healing arts, but despite this, he is a good fit for his house, sturdy, fiercely loyal, and capable.
Quite excellent. And then finally, we have Mr. Heelbot. Mr. Heelbot, who are you playing?
Mr. Heelbot. He's playing a guy named Mr. Fisher. And my guy happens to be, like, kind of old, like, the oldest guy, like, over 9,000 years old. Okay, he's only, like, 70, but, you know, it's cooler
he's
being
like 80.
9,000. Yeah. Well, okay, fine. He's like 80. And he's kind of like a teacher. He's kind of like a super teacher because he's super old and he knows like a shit ton of stuff. But he's like a teacher in religion and like a bunch of other knowledge, and that's what he does. Also, he's the only black guy in this white campaign.
Wow.
Heelbot has specifically requested that Maester Fisher come from the Summer Isles, so therefore he is from the Summer Isles. He's black.
Also, my guy can read better than Daniel, which suck it, Bob.
Balls.
Love you too.
Oh, I did say in your character background that you are in your 70s. Sorry, are in your 70s. Also, an important note for Heelbot's character, Maester Fisher. He is currently working on a tome for religions called The Faiths of the Seven Kingdoms and Beyond the Narrow Sea.
No, that's not important.
It's kind of important. You are the leading religious expert in all of Westeros, which makes you fairly important.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. Like, the Pope. Ish.
What?
Except don't quote me on that because I don't know what the Pope does.
Well,
Okay, so just
Yeah, let's
moving
move
on.
on from that.
Just gonna
Oh my
move on. I'm a cow. Move on. Okay. So if you remember, if you guys listened last season, how we left off was our heroes went back to the tourney grounds and spent the night in their tents. And so this is the morning after the last day of the tournament. The tournament is now over, and so it is still dark in the morning, although some houses have already started rousing them and their servants and getting packed up to leave for the day. When Maester Julian comes to wake up Maester Daniel Snow.
Indeed.
I'm gonna make you guys role play stuff a lot more in this one than we did in the last one because I'm gonna force people to role play. So, Maester Julian is very excited to attend his first Maester's Conclave ever. And he's going to walk with he's going to meet wake up Daniel Snow and meet him at his tent. So you should do that. You should walk in and try to make up Bob.
Master Snow, wake up! Master Snow! Master Snow, wake up! Up!
is it morning already?
It will be soon, I think.
You are not helpful.
We must go.
What time is
Must
it?
be up.
What time is it?
It's
Time to get going.
like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
You buttbag. Okay.
There's a lot to do.
Sorry, thy buttbag. Ye buttbag. There we go.
There we go.
As
All right.
so
I'll wake up.
yeah, you wake up,
Fine.
get dressed. You guys should pick if you want to eat anything right now. You have a small larder left of some like breads and hard cheeses that you have left over.
Yeah, I could go for some breakfast this morning. I believe I would like a serving of bread and hard cheese.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. You never know what's going to come around the corner.
After all, I believe our fellow Mechanist compatriots are not yet awake.
No, they're all asleep. You hear raucous snoring from Ulrich's tent.
Oh, lazy bastard.
That sounds like a lion's roar.
I don't freaking snore. I had a wife and daughter. I had to control that snoring a long time ago.
You're not that character anymore. You can't say shit. So as you guys are eating, a septon walks up to you, and he's dressed as most septons are in a very long white robe and a little white cap. And he approaches you and he says, Maester Snow, Maester Julian, my name is Septon Stanipo, and I have been sent by the Sept of Baelor to escort you to the Sept of Baelor for today's Maester's Conclave.
Thank you, good Septon. Have many of the other Maesters already arrived for today's gathering?
He slightly smiles and shakes his head, and he says, "No, it is still quite early in the morning. We have several hours until the conclave begins. But I had heard reports that Maester Julian would be exceptionally excited about the conclave, and we do have a couple errands to run briefly before the conclave begins."
Indeed. Would you care to join us to break the fast before we begin?
Oh, that sounds lovely. So he sits down, and you guys are munching out that fine. And as you guys are eating, Maester barely walks out of the Tall Heart's tent, which is fairly nearby. And so when Barely does wake up and walk out of his tent, he immediately recognizes the Mechanist Maester, and especially knowing how close the two houses have become over the last couple of days, he wants to join with him too.
Excellent. Come join us and eat. It is a good morning, and the sun has just beginning to rise, I believe.
I walk over to the House Mechanist tent, nodding to Maester Snow, and say, absolutely, it's a pleasure to see you, Maester Snow, and I'm very excited to attend the conclave today.
Yes, I hear there shall be a great many interesting folk to meet, and that this shall be a good opportunity to see some fellow maesters we have not seen in many a year. I think I'm just about done eating as well.
Quite excellent. So once you guys wrap up, Stanipos starts leading you through the streets, and he says, I wish to stop briefly at my local sept. I have to pick one thing up, but then we are traveling to the docks. There is a maester from White Harbor who just arrived last night, and we are going to escort him as well into the sept. I thought that he would get along well with you all, being northern maesters. And he smiles briefly. And he says, "Well, except for Maester Julian, of course."
Oh, we shall see.
So you guys are walking through town. And the sun is just barely starting to rise. And the city is starting to come to life. There's not very many people yet, but a few people are opening up their windows and emptying their chamber pots into the street, and the dawn chorus of all the local birds has started. So there's a lot of pigeons and sparrows and chickadees and little things beginning to sing. And finally you arrive at Stanipos' local sept. And you smell a scent from wafting out of the door. It's a very kind of like a ruddy, herby kind of smell. And you recognize it as one of the most prominent incense that the sept uses for its light of the seven, its faith, its services. So Stanipo stops outside the door, and he says, "Oh, just be a minute," and he ducks inside. He opens the door and walks inside. And right after he closes it, it's like a big kind of sort of double door situation. Right after one side closes, the other side bursts open, and another maester stumbles out of it. And he looks very bloodshot. His eyes are very bloodshot, and he blinks, and he raises his arm to the sun, trying to shield it. And he kind of blinks at you, and he glares at you, and he begins shuffling off.
I'd like to roll knowledge to see if I recognize him.
Okay, go for it.
15.
You do not recognize him.
Daniel?
Do you want to try it? Does anybody else want to try it?
Sure.
Go for it. You can roll knowledge, or you can roll cunning memory.
I would like to see if I can recognize him.
Go for it. Either
that
roll,
would be memory?
Yeah, either roll cunning memory or knowledge.
I bet I know who he is.
Okay. Just gonna roll. Can I roll standard cunning, or does it have to be memory?
No, you can roll normal cunning if you want. You don't have to have
roll
memory.
Gonna roll standard cunning. 15.
No, you do not recognize him.
All right.
That does.
What?
Do you want
Are you
want
gonna try?
Oh, I got 11. I didn't even close.
Can I roll
if-
healing diagnose to see why he looks so groggy?
If TF, yes, you can, but for a moment. If TF rolled an 11, then he recognized him as one of another local maester. So it's from a slightly nearby house. He's from the Stormlands. And you know him as Maester Ramsfield.
I recognize that.
Is he wearing any clothing that would identify his house?
No, he's just in his normal Maester's robes and chain.
Indeed.
So you did roll a diagnose, Mr. Argaz?
Yeah, I got a 20.
Okay, so you know that from his actions, he doesn't look drunk. It just looks like he's been awake for a very long time.
Oh.
So he's sleep deprived and he's likely exhausted. You guys want to do
Right.
anything else?
I would like to talk to him.
Okay, you can try.
What's that?
I
shoot.
do not know who he is, correct?
Uh,
I know who he is, and
Go for it.
sure, of course.
Go for it.
He's Maester Ramsfield?
Ramsfield, yes.
Ramsfield from nearby house that I don't know because I'm not familiar with all the houses yet.
I could come up with one real fast. I don't have a specific house name for him.
Well, for the moment, I would just like to...
No, he's a maester for House Celtigar.
Oh, there you go.
Hold on. That completely changes me talking to him.
Does it?
No.
You could remember that House Celtigar, and this is, well, you'd have to run cunning memory to remember anything about House Celtigar, and TF would have to tell you guys that he's from House Celtigar first.
I'm sorry? That Master Ramsfield is from House Celticar?
Cool. Do you guys
Hey!
remember what House Celtigar?
I remember that they were tented near us.
They did well in the tourney.
Yes. Lord Adrian Celtigar, the head of House for House Celtigar, won the jousting tournament. He is one of Stannis Baratheon's. He's a sworn bannerman to Stannis Baratheon, and he lives, and House Celtigar lives on an island very close to King's Landing, next to Dragonstone. Lord Adrian Celtigar has also been known in the past for being very, very gruff. He's a very good fit for a bannerman of Stannis. He's kind of plain. He's very fierce. He's not very humorous. Lord Celtigar is. So
Indeed.
he's a very serious man. So
Well, I would like to call out to the Maester leaving. Good morning, sir. What seems to be ailing you?
okay, roll persuasion.
Persuasion. Standard persuasion?
Yeah.
All right. That would be a 13.
So as he's walking away, Maester Ramsfield just kind of tweaks his head, indicating that he heard you speak, but he does not turn around. And he continues walking away, and he disappears into the slowly gathering crowd.
Well then.
The gathering crowd isn't like people are moving around, merchants walking around, and other small folk going about their day-to-day business.
Right.
I personally think a rude maester such as himself is more the small folk.
Ooh, bird. Okay. So, right about then, Stanapo comes out of the sept, and he kind of coughs a couple of times as he does so. And as he walks through the door, and he says, thank you for waiting for me. We can continue to the docks now.
I don't know that much about septons. Is it inappropriate to ask what they're doing?
What do you mean?
Like, would it be appropriate to say, what were you doing in there? Or is that really bad etiquette? I'm asking because I don't know the universe that well.
No, it's fine. Yeah, you can ask him, like, what were you picking up?
I would like to ask him what he was picking up then. Sir, what were you picking up at your sept?
Okay, roll persuasion.
11?
Stanipo just kind of smiles at you, and he reaches within his robe and he removes a slightly fairly large sack, a fairly large sack, and shows it to you. And he says, there is rampant crime in this area of the city, and so it has been we make it a practice to remove all contributions that have been made during the sept in the last day or so, and keep it on our person at all times, just to make sure it doesn't get robbed when someone isn't constantly manning the sept.
A wise choice. A wise choice.
So you guys continue towards the harbor, and this is a good opportunity to talk amongst yourselves if you have any burning questions, just like of characters in the game world. And this would be a good opportunity to ask somebody else, like, or ask Stanipo, is it rude for me to ask you, or like, what do you do? What is your day-to-day basis like, or anything you want? It's a good opportunity for a little table talk.
All right.
Sestipo, the septum, who Mr. Baylor is?
What? Oh, so, yeah, so roll persuasion real fast.
Persuasion is the
because I'm assuming you're asking Stanipo. Yeah, I think for you it's 3. I think I gave you one.
1, 2, 3. 6 and 3 and 2 is 11.
Okay, so Stanipo turns to you, and he says, the Sept of Baelor was constructed by King Baelor. And so a sept is just any place. It's like the church. It is the actual building that, like, we would call it a church. They call it a sept. And the Sept of Baelor was built by King Baelor, and the King Baelor was known as being exceptionally pious, and so he built the largest and most ornate sept in the Seven Kingdoms, and so they named it after him, the Sept of Baelor. And as a result, it is one of the main, like the signature building of King's Landing. It's really the Sept of Baelor and the Red Keep, where all of the nobles stay and where the throne room is and everything. So it's one of those two, like, really big signature buildings. And as a result of that, they have decided to loan it out as the location for the Maester's Conclave, just because it's very large. It has all of the staff. It's fully staffed enough for you guys to hang around and talk about your old man things.
I would rather not talk about mine.
Does that answer your question, Mr. TF?
Yes.
Cool.
All right. How far away is the sept from camp?
So picture King's Landing as it's fairly circular. Well, it's fairly squarish. So picture a square, and then put a dot in the very center of the square. More to the right of that, next to the edge, but like in the middle of the line, but next to the edge is where the tournament grounds is. And then, but if you go back to the point in the very middle, the sept is above and to the left of that, kind of at a diagonal. it's kind of in the middle of the city, a little bit more towards the edge than the actual middle of the city, but it's somewhat close to the middle. At that far left edge of the square would be where the docks are.
Excellent.
So you guys are kind of making a U, I guess, but it's a little shorter than that. It's more of a V, like a very tight V.
All right. Well, shall we go inside?
You guys are now head to the docks.
Oh, that is correct.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon.
Cool.
I, just for some giggles, ask Stefano?
Stanipo, yeah.
Stanipo, what his experience has been with conclaves in the past.
Okay. Roll persuasion.
Hell. Wow, this is really terrible. 8.
Oh, that's enough. Stanipo smiles at you and he says, "Well, the Sept of Baelor has hosted many conclaves before, but I have only been a part of the ambassador help staff of one other previous time. And you look at his face and you recognize that this is probably just due to the age, because he's an adult, but he's still a fairly young man. He's in his like mid to late 20s. And so Maester's conclaves don't happen super often. And they're also kind of erratic when they happen, because they usually just coordinate them when the king has a really big kingdom-wide tourney. So, and that might only happen every 2 or 3 or 4 years, depending on how the realm's doing, how the crown's finances are doing, if anyone's at war, all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of erratic on when they happen, and so he likely wasn't a Septon before that. So he probably has only gotten the chance to help out at 2 of them, or at 1 of them before this one.
Interesting.
Can I ask, out of character, what kind of smile this is? Because he smiles at everything, and it's a little creepy.
It's are you asking for like an empathy check, or are you asking for like how
I'm just asking you as DM like a brief description of his face. I'm not trying to check him.
Yeah, you're good. When he smiles, he mostly shows it's a little bit of teeth, but it's mostly his lips, and it's mostly to the side. It's a little cockeyed, but from what you can tell about the personality, he's kind of just a jovial person. He's fairly quiet and well mannered, but he seems to have a pretty good sense of humor about him at all times.
I'm sorry, what is this guy's name?
Septon Stanipo.
Thank you.
All right.
Cool. So you arrive at the docks, and as you do, the sun has completely risen now. So it's not high in the sky yet. It is still on the horizon, but you can see it's not a half circle anymore. It's a full circle. And there is still the remnants of a brilliant deep red sunrise. And so when you arrive at the docks, the activity level is actually starting to go down, just because they're after their morning rush. And you see several ships in the process of sailing away, and going to various exotic locations. Some cool places as far as Bravos and Volantis, and some more mundane ones, such as like Goldtown. So as you see that, you walk up to a big ship. It's very large, and it's a 3-masted ship. It's a very large galley. And there is a big merman painted on all of its sails, and you recognize that as the merman banner of House Manderley, who are the rulers of White Harbor. And that is very important because Maester Fisher is the Maester for Whiteharbour. So
That's kind of ironic.
So we've come to the boat which is going to deposit Maester Fisher to us.
with a
Awesome.
merman banner, you can kind of tell I chose people's names kind of specifically.
Yeah.
Little nods here and there. So as you walk up, Septon Stanipo calls to one of the crew members, and he says, "We are here to receive Maester Fisher and escort him to the Sept of Baelor." And the crew member nods, and he runs off. And a few minutes later, several crew members arrive, carrying a litter between them. There's like six of them, and they're carrying the litter, and they walk it down this big wooden ramp that they have set up connecting the docks to the galley. And they get to the bottom of the docks, and they set it down, and you can see it's not a very ornate litter. One that the king would ride in would be like super gilded and really golden, and have a really plush exterior. And this one is more just like a slightly larger, comfortable box. It's not gilded. It's just wooden. It's painted with a merman on the side, but it's not gilded with any metals. It's fairly simple. And they second.
That's pretty big pimping for just a dude. I mean, not normal people walk around in boxes being carried.
well, you figure out why he is being carried very quickly, because they raise the side of it, and there you see reclining is Maester Fisher, and you immediately see how old he is, and he likely cannot walk by himself in a very quick manner.
So that's why we got up so freaking early.
So that's why we got up so freaking
forever.
Yeah. So Maester Fisher greets all of you.
Greetings to you as well.
This would be Heelbot's cue to say something as his character.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was in until not just now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're basically.
I've been totally just trolling YouTube for the last 20 minutes.
Wow.
I wonder when I'm gonna enter. So I'm so sorry. I didn't listen to any of the last some amount of time.
Right now. You're
Yeah.
entering right now. Actually, in the past, you've missed it.
Okay, so let's say, what the fuck is happening?
I beg your pardon, good Maester.
I think salutations are in order, Maester
No.
Fisher.
I'm sorry, I gotta come up with a voice real quick. Good day.
I think we should leave your original greeting.
True.
It'd be kind of in character. You're just suddenly plopped down on the dock, and someone raised up your box and woke you up. And now there's a whole bunch
that's exactly what I said.
bunch of old guys staring you
What's
back in
happening?
the face.
Now it's a party.
No. This is what I'm gonna say. You ready?
Good work.
Who are these blimey motherfuckers?
Oh Lord. Oh.
I beg your pardon, Maester Fisher.
Well, we just went from like a hard PG-13 rating to R. Just
It's New Year's all
push
over
it.
again.
It's always New Year's all over again. Stanipo chuckles, and he says, "My name is Septon Stanipo. I have been sent by the Faith to escort you to the Sept of Baelor, where the Maester's Conclave will be heading." And he introduces the other Maesters next to him. This is Maester Daniel Snow of Mechanist House. This is Maester Julian of King's Landing. And this is Maester Bayerly from Torrens Square of the Tall Hearts.
Brilliant. Maester Fisher is going to slowly just get up out of his seat, using his staff as best he can to keep himself upright, wobbling a little bit with a lot of groans. He's gonna look at what's your name again?
Which one?
The main guy.
The Septon?
Yes, the Septon. What's his name?
Septon Stanipo. You guys just start writing down names.
Yes.
Nope.
I have a...
Do it. I'm
Okay.
eventually just gonna stop telling you and letting your party do it.
I'm just gonna... This'll do. Fuck. Nothing in my life works. Okay?
I'll just wait. Just wait, my friends. It'll get worse before it gets better. So you stand up. What else do you want to do?
That's it.
You're just gonna want to try to walk with everybody else?
Yeah, except I'm friggin' slow
Okay.
and old, so...
No, it's fine.
Like,
One.
as the party starts moving away, I'm just gonna be moving behind everyone, and at one point I'm just gonna yell, "Hey, I'm very slow."
And suddenly you're Scottish. I was waiting for it.
Black Scotsman. Yeah, I can see it.
I want you to hold out your hand and ask for someone to offer you an arm to help speed you up.
Hey, you, who's the youngest in this party?
The youngest would
looks
be
the
Julian.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Julian and say, "Give me your arm, boy."
Of course, Master. Yeah, right with you.
So the five of you are slowly walking towards the Scepter Baylor. And Maester Fisher is being helped by Maester Julian, which is quite excellent. And you guys start talking about your expectations for the conclave and what you hope to learn. So if there's anything specifically that you'd like to talk to your fellow maesters about, this would be an excellent time to do so.
Well, I would like to ask Maester Daniel Snow, so what have your exploits been of late? I've heard some of House Mechanist's actions around in the recent tourney.
It has been exceptionally busy since we last spoke. This tourney has full of unexpected surprises. Our house has been accused of many crimes we did not commit, and I dare say solving these issues has left me quite exhausted, as a great deal of investigating and discussion has been required.
Oh yes, I've heard of some of these exploits. Sadly, I was not able to attend every event, but the news has certainly spread fast.
Indeed it has, and we are quite thankful that we have been vindicated and shown to be innocent of these heinous charges. Today I'm very much hoping to hear some of the lectures that are coming forward. As always, I am looking for information as to the identities of those heinous killers that, well, need I say more?
It's a noble cause, my friend. I certainly hope that you find what you seek one day.
Thank you. I appreciate and am grateful for all of the support you have shown myself and my house during these difficult times.
Oh, we northern houses must stick together.
Indeed. It seems that every time something good happens, two more bad things rise to counter them and weigh down our spirits. What are you looking forward to today?
Well, as always, I would greatly enjoy hearing of the realm's medical advances, as you may know that I myself am quite proficient in the healing arts, and I'm always looking to expand my knowledge, although I often doubt that I will learn too much from these other maesters.
Indeed, I believe I'm familiar with your latest work. It has been quite instrumental in my own house recently.
Well, I'm glad that you found that to be true. Some maesters don't appreciate my work, but it's certainly an important one for keeping our people safe and happy.
No doubt. No doubt. What about you, gentlemen? Any hopes that you are looking forward to?
I suppose meeting all the fabulous maestros. I don't think I've attended one of these before. Have I?
Julian has never attended a Maester's Conclave before now.
Yes, it is quite the experience.
I'm hoping to re-enlighten as many of you as I can. I'm not expecting to stay much longer a part of this council, or to see another one of these, whatever the fuck these are called,
Conclaves.
Master.
conclaves.
I understand,
My
sir.
memory is awful.
My memory fails me as well sometimes.
Anyways, how far is it?
It's a little bit farther.
Aye.
In game time, you have like 15 more minutes. Also, Daniel should elaborate specifically on the heinous murders that he's hinting at. Because, because nobody else has heard of any of this before. Whether it's been something you're referencing that happened in the last game, or something in your character background. You should elaborate on. These are your friends. These aren't people that you feel necessary to hide things from.
Wait, am I his friend?
Yes, you're all Northern Maesters, and you're fairly comfortable with one another, and a lot more with each other than you would be with Maesters of different kingdoms. Just kind of clicky Maesters. That's all.
Thought you were going to call us xenophobes. No, we're just clicky.
We're the cool maesters.
You can't sit with us.
You can't read with us.
With us.